Hi, my name is Matt Bauer, and I have the privilege of serving as principal here at Great Plains Lutheran High School. I'm looking forward to starting our school's 25th year under the theme, All to the Glory of God. The goal of this orientation is to provide helpful information that will help us get the school year off to a strong start and also strengthen our partnership in Christian secondary education. At the onset, I'm just going to level with you. I've done several takes of this already, and it's hard to not get tongue-tied and want to redo it. So at some point, I just need to plow through and go with it, and that's what I'm going to do with this take. So please bear with me if I stumble along the way. I'll do my best to speak clearly and smoothly. At GPL, we have a unique partnership with parents in Christian education. Our goal is to help young people grow as lifelong disciples of Christ. And we get to do that with students that come from South Dakota, from several states around our country, and from several countries around the world. Each and every day, God blesses us with the opportunity to share Christ's saving love with a very diverse group of students. The key to any successful partnership is communication. I'm going to share several pieces of communication that we find helpful at GPL. The first is email. Each day you can expect announcements to come to you via email, and then also each week and each month, we also send special updates with important information. Please be sure to check these and stay up to date with what's happening at GPL. If we get into the school year and you find that you're not receiving these email updates, please reach out to Mrs. Miller in the office, and we'll make sure to get our email list updated accordingly. We also make use of social media to share the life of Great Plains Lutheran High School. You can find information on our website. We also have Instagram and Facebook accounts that we use very regularly to share the life of our school. Especially if you're a family that lives a great distance away, these can be helpful tools for you to keep up with what's going on at GPL. We'd encourage you to like, share, and comment on our posts to help increase their visibility and reach. Our main Great Plains Lutheran High School calendar is a Google Calendar. I'd encourage you to link your calendar to this calendar so that you can receive the most current information of the various happenings at GPL. We operate a GPL YouTube channel through which we stream many of the activities that take place on our campus. I'd encourage you to subscribe, and this can be a wonderful tool both to watch activities live and then also to go back later. We archive them in case you're not able to watch them live. One tool we use to push text message updates at our parents is Remind. We primarily use Remind to share schedule changes. So maybe an athletic contest gets postponed due to the weather, or maybe it's a school cancellation. Those types of things we communicate with Remind. So you can see on the screen here the information that you need to join GPL Parents on Remind. And it's possible that if you're a Verizon customer, you might need to install the Remind app on your phone. But either way, I encourage you to make use of Remind to receive those text message updates. Along the way, it's inevitable that questions and concerns may arise about various aspects of life at GPL. I'd encourage you to be timely, proactive, and direct in sharing these questions or concerns, because it's our goal to help answer your questions and resolve your concerns as quickly as possible. And by direct, I mean, please go to the person most directly responsible that may have the answer to your question or your concern. I'd also encourage you, as you're mingling with other parents and so forth, you might discover that you've got common questions or concerns. Again, I'd like to encourage you to encourage each other to deal with those questions and concerns timely, proactively, and as direct as possible so that we can resolve them and move forward with a successful partnership. Along the way, it's inevitable, too, that there may be questions or concerns that arise with your child at GPL. I'd encourage you as parents to try to find the right balance. By all means, play an active role in your child's well-being in high school. But at the same time, part of that active role may be intentionally encouraging your child to address and strive to resolve questions and concerns with teachers and coaches and directors and so forth, as well, as that's an important part of them developing life skills and becoming fine Christian young adults. I mean this literally and figuratively, that my door is always open. So please, if a question or a concern arises, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'll do my best to help you. My email address and also my mobile phone number are on the screen. You can shoot a text to me. Feel free to call me as well. I'm here to help you. I'd like to share some information about how we can help our students at GPL succeed, both academically and in everything that they do. First of all, I want you to know that each student has an academic advisor, and essentially, this is the student's homeroom teacher. So we have 8 different homerooms, each of which has a designated teacher for approximately 15 students. Homeroom meets once a week on Wednesday. Additionally, homeroom teachers are here to be mentors for their students. They play an important role in the scheduling process when we go through that each early spring. There will be a document shared that has a list of all of the homeroom teachers and which students are assigned to them. And additionally, each homeroom teacher is going to be sharing a brief introductory video as well. So I'd encourage you to check out which homeroom teacher is assigned to your child. And then also I'd encourage you to watch that homeroom teacher's introduction video so that you can get to know that homeroom teacher a little bit better. Please never hesitate to reach out to your child's homeroom teacher with any questions that you might have. Just about all of our students at GPL take at least one study hall during the day. It's a wonderful opportunity during the school day to have some time to get schoolwork done and maybe not have as much homework in the evening. So I'd encourage you to encourage your child to make maximum use of study hall time. Beyond the school day, we strive to make our teachers available to our students. We have something that we call 10th hour, which basically involves teachers hanging around and staying in their classrooms from 3:30 to 4:15 each day. This is an opportunity for students to visit teachers and ask questions, potentially get extra help, and so forth. So the positive aspect of 10th hour is the access to teachers that our students have. Sometimes 10th hour may be used as a consequence. If a student doesn't have some of their schoolwork done, a teacher may require them to stay after school to finish it. Additionally, if a student is academically ineligible at one of our grade checks, which we do every 4 to 5 weeks during the school year, 10th hour is also a consequence for ineligible students that gives them the opportunity for a couple weeks to devote some extra attention to their schoolwork. One of our teachers, Jane Yeager, has the title Learning Coordinator, and her job is to try to align the way we serve students with any unique needs that they may have. So if you have any questions about how your student is being served in the classroom or any special needs that your student may have that if we were aware of them, we could strive to serve your student better, please don't hesitate to reach out to Mrs. Yeager. Her email address can be found on our website. Another important piece of the academic picture is standardized testing. On Wednesday, October 14th, most of our students will be involved in some form of standardized testing. Freshmen and sophomores take ACT-like tests to help prepare them for the actual ACT, which we ask juniors to take. Some of our juniors will be taking the pre-SAT, and our seniors will be taking the National Career Readiness Certificate. So most of our students are involved in some form of standardized testing on October 14th, and ultimately that standardized testing can help us gauge their academic proficiency with students all across the country, and it also helps us make curricular decisions and so forth. I'd encourage all of our parents to monitor their child's academic progress. Again, there's kind of a fine line between micromanaging, but yet being well informed. PowerSchool is our school information system. It also serves as our electronic gradebook. So parents can set up an account through the PowerSchool parent portal that allows them to check their child's academic progress at any point during the school year. We'll be sharing information with login credentials shortly after the school year starts. Returning parents, your login credentials will remain the same as they were last year. An appropriate balance of using PowerSchool I have found is this, and I'm just going to offer this as a recommendation. Rather than maybe logging into PowerSchool every day and seeking, blow-by-blow, play-by-play updates on your child's progress, I might encourage you to check PowerSchool approximately once a week. When you go into PowerSchool, you can set up PowerSchool to send you a weekly, I think you can also do this monthly, but I'm just going to suggest weekly email update. So when you wake up on Monday morning and you check your email, You'll have an update from Power School that shows your child's all of their classes, all of their current progress. I find that myself with my own children to be a pretty well-balanced way of paying attention to how they're doing, but maybe not going too far, and ultimately still trying to help them fly on their own without too much intervention. Another way that parents can keep up with some of the work that their children are doing in school is Google Classroom. The vast majority of our teachers use Google Classroom quite regularly as a way that they have their class set up. When we went to distance learning last spring, and if that were to happen again, Google Classroom would continue to be a very important tool. One thing you can do with Google Classroom is request that teachers invite you to join their class. And then what that does is it allows you to receive an update with your child's assignments and so forth, and it gives you a feel for what they're doing in school. It might also lead you to ask your child some questions about, the homework that they have and so forth, and being able to keep up with what's going on. Something that we encourage of all of our students is to have something called a growth mindset. You can see on the two heads here that there's different ways of looking at growth mindset versus fixed mindset. The long and the short of it is, a growth mindset is how can I, or a willingness to believe that you can. Whereas a fixed mindset is more of a willingness to believe that you can't. And we encourage our students to be problem solvers and to search for a way through effort, through attitude, through making use of the resources that they have at their disposal, to have a growth mindset and to always be working to improve and stretch and grow through their experience at GPL. One of my favorite Bible verses that I like to motivate our students with is Colossians 3, verse 23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men. Each day we have the opportunity to show love to our Savior by working our hardest for Him in how we serve Him and how we develop our talents and so forth to His glory. Each week I post a motivational quote on the bulletin board outside my office. Again, just trying to give the students little things to try to help them learn, to try to help them stay encouraged and motivated. An example of a growth mindset-oriented quote might be this from Henry Ford. Failure is not the opportunity to begin again. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Failure is the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. So in other words, rather than letting setbacks and failures cause us to stop and quit, they're opportunities to learn and hopefully get it right the next time. I'd like to touch on a few policies and procedures that it's good to be well versed in. First, parents, please know that we have a drop and add policy that allows students to possibly shift course in the classes in their schedule in the early part of each semester. The add or drop period is the 10th day of school at GPL, and for students at Northeast Technical High School, it's the 6th day of class over there. Hopefully, most of our students' scheduling decisions will stick, but it's possible they may have a good reason for wanting to add or drop a class. Please know that there's a process for this, and it involves parents being informed and parents signing off. So if your child desires to add or drop a class, you'll be hearing from them. As far as attendance goes, and this year may be especially unique given the circumstances surrounding COVID-19, I'll touch on a few things related to that a little bit later. But please be proactive in letting us know if your child's not going to be in school on a given day, or if your child's going to be coming late or leaving early. The more well-informed we are directly by parents, the better. In fact, it really needs to come from parents if your child's going to be absent for any part of the school day. One way that you can take care of the attendance is just to make contact with Mrs. Miller at the front desk. If it's after hours, you can leave a message. She'll check those first thing in the morning. Otherwise, she'll be answering the phone throughout the day. With respect to cell phones, please encourage your child to be responsible. We have some detailed procedures in place to try to help cell phones be a blessing and not prove to be a challenge to our program at GPL. Those policies and procedures are laid out in the student handbook, so I'd encourage you to go over those with your child. We'll be discussing some of those things with students on the first day of school. We're trying to find the right balance of giving them freedom to use these devices without them becoming a distraction from their studies. On the first day of school, we'll be going through our technology acceptable use policy with our students. Again, you can find this in the student handbook. It gives you a feel for what we expect of our students when it comes to the use of technology in a God-pleasing way. Also in the student handbook, you can find our dress and appearance guidelines. For the most part, this goes pretty well at GPL. We do have some guidelines in place to help our students exemplify Christian character and how they present themselves. Please be well versed in these, and also please encourage your child to meet these guidelines in how they dress each day. There are some things at GPL that have been unwritten rules, if you will, and going into this year, with the intent of trying to provide a safe and orderly learning environment for our students, we're putting some of these things in writing. So there are some new, not necessarily new, but revised student expectations. This document was shared with you in the preview email I sent about a week ago, and it contains just some practical things that help things go smoothly during the school day. Again, I'd encourage you to read through these student expectations, maybe go through them with your student. We'll be going through them with the students on the first day of school as well. An important calendar adjustment this year, this was shared earlier in the summer, but I want to highlight it here again just in case you missed that. At GPL, it had been our practice to finish the school day on Fridays at 2:30 p.m., which allowed our teachers to have a meeting from 2:30 to 3:30. This year, we're going to be doing something a little bit differently with our faculty meetings, and that's going to allow us to have a full day of school on Friday. So classes will go all the way until 3:30 p.m., just like they do on every other normal day of school. Please make sure your child knows this before school begins. There will be times where we might have a special schedule that allows for sports teams to leave early. So there will be times where we still do a 2:30 p.m. dismissal schedule, but it will not be the norm. The norm will be a full day of school on Fridays until 3:30 p.m. Some things specific to our return to school, given the climate around our country with COVID-19. First of all, we shared our safe return to school plan with you a little while back. If you haven't had the opportunity to do so already, please review it. Again, it's not intended to be completely comprehensive down to every last detail, but hopefully it covers the big picture, and then some of those details will be worked out on site, and you can, rest assured that we'll be working on things like social distancing and having routines and procedures that are designed to keep our students safe. Obviously, an important part of our safe return plan is that we're going to be requiring students, staff, and also visitors to wear face coverings. We feel this is an important part of trying to help our students and faculty stay healthy. We'll be revisiting our safe return to school plan after 3 weeks, and we'll see if we feel if any adjustments are appropriate at that time. But this is how we're beginning the school year. Additional than the school day, we'll be asking spectators at home athletic contests in our gymnasium to wear face coverings as well. We chose that wording carefully. It is our desire that spectators wear face coverings. We're going to have a lot of people in close proximity, but it is going to be an ask, and we're going to stop short of saying requirement because we find that this could be difficult to enforce if somebody really digged in and decided that they didn't want to wear a mask. So again, we're asking you to do this, and it would be tremendously helpful if you complied with our request. During the school day, we'll be taking an extra afternoon break between 7th and 8th periods just to give our students a few minutes to go outside, take their face coverings off, and just catch their breath before returning for the rest of the school day. We do believe that our students will have several good opportunities during the school day to take a mask break if they choose to do so. As with anything, this is new, and there may be some things that come up along the way that we didn't expect, so we'll do our best to make adjustments accordingly, and we would just ask that everybody be patient as we strive to get this school year off to a strong start. I need to go back to the first point on this slide. The goal of all of this is to try to keep on-site operations open the entire school year, all of our school day activities, our co-curricular activities, and so forth, so that our students can have the most enriching experience at GPL. Additionally, our safe return plan calls for a daily health screening. So as students and staff and visitors arrive, this will be a very brief check, just asking about symptoms that are unexplained and also taking temperature. So this will just become a part of our normal routine in the morning when students arrive. Again, one of the big unknowns with the COVID-19 circumstances is what it will do to attendance. If there are confirmed cases, then figuring out who close contacts are and what that means for quarantining and so forth. The Department of Health is going to be involved with this, and there may be actually some information that our school is not initially allowed to know. So for example, if someone were to get COVID-19 and then the Department of Health were to ask them, by definition, who are the close contacts, and then those close contacts are contacted, our school will not necessarily know who the close contacts are. So in the situation that your child is asked to quarantine for 14 days, we would ask that you would inform us and keep us completely up to date on what's going on so that we can plan accordingly. As our safe return plan specifies, on-site operation is going to be the norm at GPL, and we will do our best to support students who may need to stay home from school. We anticipate that there may be some students who need to stay home because they're quarantined, and they may be in perfectly good health, and they will then likely be able to continue to keep up with their schoolwork even if they're not in the building. So we'll do our best to provide support that's practical and easy for our students to keep up with. Again, if anything comes up that you feel needs to be brought to our attention, please don't hesitate to let us know. The last thing I'm going to say about COVID-19 is, I can't say that this is necessarily my catchphrase, but I heard it. We can control the controllables. There are many circumstances surrounding this that may be out of our control, but there are a couple things that we can control. We can control our healthful habits. We'll be reminding our students and encourage them to do things like regular hand washing, proper ways of coughing, and so forth. We can control our healthful habits. We can also control our attitudes. There may be some things about our safe return plan that not everybody is thrilled about, but in considering the best interest of our students, and again, our desire to keep the door open, we feel these things are necessary at this time. So please encourage your student to come back to school with a positive attitude that we're doing these things in their best interest, and we deeply desire that they can have as normal a school year as possible. A few encouragements related to some things that in the past few years we have discovered have tripped some of our students up. You know, we've got that school year theme, all to the glory of God, and we'll be reminding our students that their words and their actions and their thoughts can all be a part of how they glorify God with their lives. We have discovered that social media has been a source of temptation. Sometimes students will interact with each other via social media in a way that they would never think of acting in person, but because they're behind a screen, it makes it a little bit easier to say some things that they normally wouldn't say. Specifically, Snapchat and more recently TikTok have been some of these avenues that students have shared inappropriate messages with each other. I'd encourage you to pay attention to what your child's doing with social media, what accounts they have and so forth, and then ultimately just encouraging them to use these communication tools in a God-pleasing, loving way. Additionally, each and every day our students face temptation of substance abuse. In recent years, that's taken the form of vaping and sometimes even alcohol abuse. As much as we at GPL are very proud to have a student body that by and large is very well behaved and an atmosphere that is undeniably Christian, like I said, our students do face temptation and sometimes they give in to temptation. So these are different aspects of our students' lives in which we can encourage them to make good choices. Some really great news at GPL is the fact that expansion of our facilities is going to begin very soon. It's possible that by the time you see this video, it will have already begun. So I'd like to share a brief update on where we're headed with our facility expansion project, and then also some encouragements related to that. Our facility expansion program at this time is going to include a performing arts center that seats approximately 500 people, and also a new kitchen and common area or cafeteria for our students to eat. The picture that you see on the screen here shows the east side of our current gymnasium, the new kitchen and cafeteria that's going to go along there with a new entrance to our gymnasium that's much more pronounced than the old one was. On the left side of the screen, you can see the auxiliary gym expansion, but we are not moving forward with the auxiliary gymnasium initially. It is certainly our hope that in short order we'll have the resources to continue the full scope of the project, but initially the auxiliary gymnasium will not be a part of the project. So from this picture, what will be expanded is what you see in the blue shaded building along the east side of the current gymnasium. This is a view from the northwest of the Performing Arts Center exterior. Again, it will seat nearly 500 people. It'll be the place where we perform concerts, drama productions, and most importantly, it will be the site of our daily chapel services in which we have the opportunity to worship our triune God, our Savior Jesus, each and every day together. This is a rendering of the inside of that Performing Arts Center. And then we're also going to be drawing more attention to our administration academic building entrance as well with a canopy. So that'll be more pronounced and hopefully will help visitors have a clear idea of where they should enter our school building. So work on these expansions will begin very shortly. By the end of August, we expect earth to be moved and footings to be poured and so forth. So what that means is throughout the school year, there may be times where we need to be flexible. It could be certain aspects of the parking lot are closed because of work being done. It could be that certain entrances to our building are not accessible at certain times. We will do our best to keep you and our students up to date on anything that would affect our normal routine, but please be ready to be flexible if anything needs to be adjusted so that our facility expansion project can continue uninterrupted. And then we look forward to seeing how things come together. And by next fall, we're looking forward to these expansion projects being complete and then getting to use them. And again, we praise and thank God for the resources that are making this possible. One other thing I'd like to share with you, just in case you're not familiar with our SCRIP program, is this is a tremendously helpful way to support our school and also provide some dollars that can help offset your child's tuition at GPL. The long and the short of SCRIP is that it allows you to purchase gift cards from various retailers at the normal price, but then those retailers give our school a rebate that we get to realize as actual dollars that we apply toward projects, and we also apply toward families' tuition based on their wishes. So, for example, you might buy a Walmart gift card for $200. It is worth $200, and you'll go to spend $200 at Walmart, no different than usual. But behind the scenes, 2.5% of that $200 is coming to Great Plains Lutheran High School, again, to be allocated as you wish. The reason for the program is pretty straightforward. It's a neat way that we can provide some financial support to special projects at our school and also provide tuition support. As far as the how of SCRIP goes, it's a very flexible program. You can go to shopwithscrip.com and make your SCRIP orders that way. You can do it through a new phone app called Raise Right. You can also email or use a paper form or call in your orders as well. The one thing this slide contains that's probably the most important is at the bottom there. Mrs. Pluger is the main go-to person for all things SCRIP. So you can email her or call her and she can help you get a SCRIP plan set up for your family if you're not already set up with SCRIP. If you are already set up with SCRIP, I'd encourage you to be creative in how you use SCRIP to provide for your daily needs, and in so doing, provide that support for GPL and your family's tuition as well. SCRIP orders placed by Monday morning at 10 o'clock will typically be filled right away and gift cards available by the middle of the week. Again, just an example of the tremendous blessing that SCRIP is. A couple school years ago, upwards of $60,000 in support of GPL was realized through SCRIP. I'd like to leave you with, again, our school's mission. We're working with families to help young people grow as lifelong disciples of Christ. And that'll be the goal of everything that we do this year at GPL. And we would ask that God would bless us in this partnership. It won't be possible for us to take questions and answers in this form of a video orientation, but if any come to mind, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or anyone at GPL. We're here for you, we're your partners, and we're happy to help, and we look forward to a successful and safe school year with you. Thank you.